I guess to start, so my Hillside story, we moved here from Texas, I believe, in 1992, and we lived in the Hillside. We actually lived in Harbor View. It was the projects back then before they got tore down. Now I believe it's Harbor Highlands or something. And so we lived up there. So I was kind of raised in that area, and then in different parts of the Central Hillside. I then went to work. I graduated from Central High School with a full scholarship to UMD, but I worked for, at the time, it was originally called Women's Transitional Housing. It turned into Women's Community Development. And we actually developed, so we had housing on 14th Avenue, which was women's transitional housing. And we did transitional housing, permanent supportive housing. And then we did development. We had a women in construction company. And that's when we really started doing work in the Central Hillside. So we did partnerships with like community land trusts and did some home ownership up there, houses and duplexes. But then we also just renovated different, like a triplex in the Hillside. The old convent behind the Damiano that now Center City Housing owns. We actually developed that program as well. And so developed some housing in the Hillside. And then when I left Women's Community Development, it was to run 4th Street Market. And so we ran the 4th Street Market, that me and my husband, Kirk, we ran 4th Street Market for a couple years also in the Hillside. I was always really like an advocate, and I really love doing advocacy for people. And I feel like as being in the leadership and doing the development, it was more admin work and not necessarily working direct with people and doing the advocacy. And then I couldn't necessarily advocate like I wanted because I was representing a whole organization and agency. And so when the opportunity came up to purchase the 4th Street Market to keep it in the community, because John and Annette, who I believe they had owned it for like 30, 40 years, a long time, was retiring. I talked to my husband about it. We actually, at the time, we had just moved out of the Hillside because we had lived on 5th Street. And we decided to do it because I really wanted to not only spend more time with my family, but I thought I would be able to be like in the community more and really be involved. And I wasn't representing like an agency. I could represent myself. And it was an honor to take it from them. It was a thriving business when they gave it to us, and we really enjoyed it. But with that, it was just like bad timing for us. Eventually, after about the first, I would say, year, because I got really sick, and I was having a lot of health things going on, and then we were just end up dealing with a lot of unfortunate things would happen with like the grocery prices started going up. Just the whole market was changing, and so the cost of food was going up. So then I bottom line was getting lower. But then not only that, we were dealing with some theft, and it just ended up being really hard, and we just started really struggling with the market. But and I and what I found was, for me personally, I thought that I was going to end up having all this time and be in the market and talking to the people in the community, but I ended up like in the freezer all the time, cold, and in the back of the room, either doing like payroll or admin or food orders or watching the cameras. And so it wasn't as it wasn't as an amazing experience as I thought it was going to be, but I did have some amazing moments when I could get out and get on the floor and be with the community, or attend events and bring things to events like to the parks next door. And so we did have some just amazing times just being in the community, being part of it, and being able, everybody would come in for the tacos or the market. And then I just had an amazing team that was with me. Not only like my mom was there, our kids would be in the store. We had people like Maria and Flora, people from the community that was there, that was cooking. And so we did some catering out of there, and we was catering some events. And so we did actually have, we have some great memories and some really good times in that store with our kids being smaller and running around or being in the freezers putting pops on the shelf. And so it was an honor to be able to do it when we did it. But then in the end, I just chose my health, and I had to walk away to just take care of my physical health. Not only was it able for people to get the basics groceries when they couldn't make it to the grocery store, because it was open every single day except Christmas, and so that was huge. And I think we were open like 8 in the morning to like 10 at night. And so I think that it was not only that, but we did video rentals and DVD rentals, and you can get hot meals. But then it was like a community space because people stood outside and hung out there, and so I think it was really more of just a place for the community to, so not only to, like, to meet and greet, to get food, you know. And so it was a really great place, and we were very involved in the community. When we personally owned, a lot of people knew us because we were raised in that community, and so we knew a lot of people there. And even the previous ones before that, because they had owned it 30 and 40 years, they were a huge part of the community as well. And so, I mean, it was just a staple of the hillside for several years. And my memory's not that good, so I don't remember how much, but it was there for a long time. Yeah. And I know at some point ACO had it, and I really hope that they reopen it and bring it back because I think it's still needed.